In this room is an unopened door that was part of where that meeting was taking place earlier on in the game. And once we're inside, we find a treasure chest that contains the blue orb. With the blue orb, we can now use our return magic and travel right back to where the goddess castle was. The goddess statues now tell us that it's time for us to go to the top of the belfry again and hold up the statue in order to remove the curse from the people. And just like our first time through this area, it's a pretty long and boring journey since we have no enemies to fight as we make our way all the way to the top. Once you're at the top, equip and use the Dreaming Stone Idol to remove the curse. With the curse removed, that means the villagers who have been turned to stone in their hideout are now back into their human form. By talking to this guy, we have a little information, and he gives us the golden pendant. Now, just like the silver pendant, the golden pendant allows us to enter a statue. This one will allow us to use the statue that's on the right that we couldn't use before. However, before we go to that statue, there's one more item that we're gonna pick up, and we have to go to that secondary sewer area that we traveled to, the one all the way on the very, very end of this shrine. There was a statue there that has now been unfrozen, and when we talked to him, he was actually the boyfriend of Maria, and a guy who we were actually looking for the whole time while traveling through the Solomon Shrine. After our conversation with him, he's actually going to give us the Clarius sword, the best sword in the game. The only negative about getting this sword, of course, is that we have to travel all the way across this shrine to the complete opposite corner of where we were. When we finally make it to this room, as we travel all the way to the left, we'll see that we can now talk to this guy. After our conversation with him, he gives us the Clarius sword, the best weapon in the game, and now we can use the magic of return to go back to the village to have an easier time getting back into the shrine. First, stop by Hadit's house, and we can now inform us that we actually found his son. By telling him that we found his son, he ends up giving us the best armor in the game, the Claria armor. Once we're back in the shrine, we head back into the room where we ended up fighting that boss that looked like the spider that we beat up a little bit earlier on. And now when we go into the back room, we make sure that we have the gold pendant, and now we can actually use that right statue. When we touch it, it takes us to one more part of the sewer that we hadn't been to yet. But this area leads us right to the final area of the game. Once inside here, we go down the stairs. After a little bit of traveling, we'll come to another boss door where we will finally do battle with the evil wizard Dallas. After all the bad things that he's done to us as well as the villagers, it's time to exact our revenge on him. With the right level that we currently are, just walking through him every time he spawns, we'll be able to take his health down really quickly, and as you can see, the fire that ranges around him won't do any damage to us, since we have the max equipment as well as we have the best sword. After everything he tried to do against us, with all the levels